Japan, you and your one island. But you know what's better than one Japan? That's right, 2 Japans, baby. Or maybe even 3 Japans. 4? 5? 6 Japans? 7? Oh no, there's 2 more in America. And 1 more between New Zealand and Australia? Yes, today we have added 10 Japans spread throughout the entire world. 2 of them are sandwiching America. I wonder if Pearl Harbor is gonna be more successful because of this. There's also 1 in Brazil, since these guys have a tendency to join the Allies. We also have another 1 in Africa because, well, we can't leave Africa only to the Europeans. Speaking of Europe, we have 2 of them in Europe, 1 of them connecting Iceland to Norway and 1 of them connecting Norway to the rest of Europe. And as much as the English might hate it, they are now also connected to Europe. We have another Japan connected to India and Africa, specifically Somalia, so Mussolini has some friends here for once. Another one is right below China, connecting the Philippines and Malaysia. This should really help Japan take out Malaysia extremely quickly. And last but not least, in Upside Down World, we have finally connected New Zealand and Australia. How? By putting a Japan in between them. This is actually a horrible deal for New Zealand, because all of the Australian wildlife is just gonna cross over to them. Yeah, New Zealand, good luck. And of course we have the original Japan. So how is this world going to turn out? I have absolutely no clue. But I know we are going to play as one of the big rivals of Japan. And that rival is gonna be China. We're gonna play as China. Specifically with Mr. Chiang Kai-shek. We are going to go with historical focuses on, because I really don't want to see a communist Japan in this. And we shall begin. Just in case you're wondering, all of the new Japans have their own states and provinces, and also their own manpower and factories. Which means Japan is very slightly overpowered. Yeah, 221 civs, 132 meals. By 1936, a little bit overpowered. I wonder, is it actually higher than America? Oh my god, it is! America has half of the civs. And if that wasn't enough, they also have 140 dockyards. And 15 million manpower. Since this is a new Japan, all of their VPs have new in their name. So we have New Japan, New Nagano, New Nagoya, etc, etc. As for the other ones, we have New Japan, New Nagano, and you get the gist. As for the newest Japan, it's the one between Africa and India, and of course the VP names are named appropriately. So we have New Japan. Same goes with the state names, by the way, but I'm pretty sure the devs did not expect the state name being this long. So in all of the states, all you can see is new. Come on, Paradox, how could you not predict a state name being this long? Needless to say, as China, we are in quite big trouble. For comparison, we have 21 civs and 11 mills. Yeah, it's not even close. We also have our absolutely horrible national spirits, and also a very antiquated focus tree. So in order to survive this huge Japan, we are going to have to unite China. And we are going to do that by going down this focus path right here. 3 principles of the people, begin. As for the Ethiopian war, the only big change that happens here is that Italy is lacking the port they usually would have in Somalia. And speaking of Italy, let's look at our beautiful Italian... Excuse me, Mussolini? Well, it looks like Japan is not the only thing that's been multiplied by 10. Hold on a second, how many are there? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Where's the 10th Mussolini? Is he in Ethiopia? No. Is he in the UK? Germany? Oh my god, I think I know where he is. Do I dare click on Hirohito? I have to check. Hirohito? Oh my god, Hirohito. Mussolini, what are you doing behind him? Okay, this actually looks quite scary. Why is he looking at him like that? Well, here's the 10th Mussolini. Finding him might have been a mistake. Even without the port, Tenolini seems to be doing extremely well. So this is already looking like a very good game for the Axis. But it is only 1936, and Ethiopia has capitulated. We have completed our focus, and most of the warlords have in fact accepted. Another one, and another one. And one more. The only one who didn't accept is Zibei Salma, and they're going to be gone extremely quickly. The attrition here is really horrible, but they don't have a big enough army to stop us. And Zibei Salma has capitulated. Are these Chinese borders disgusting? A little bit, but we are about to make them a whole lot worse by annexing communist China. Our troops are all prepared, so Mr. Mao, declare war. Thankfully, they've left the path completely open for our troops, so we can just march straight into their capital. Hold on a second, the AI is actually forced retreating? Wow, maybe Paradox did make the AI smarter. And yeah, they did actually stop us. But we're still China, so we can just send more men and the problem should fix itself. The communist capital is about to fall, and just in time, because Japan is justifying on us. And the capital is ours. With communist China capitulated, we may now start guarding the border with Japan. And the war is now about to begin. We could technically just surrender, but that would only give us a 6-month truce. So Mr. Hirohito and Mussolini behind him, we are going to war. We seem to be holding quite okay with the initial attack. They're also trying to do a naval invasion, but we should be able to defend it. The naval invasion has been stopped and 3 Japanese units are about to be gone. As for the front here, we seem to be holding, but we have this province right here and another one up here that has a small issue. The losses are also looking extremely good, but the divisions, yeah, the divisions are a bit scary to look at. Usually it's China with more men, but this time Japan has about 4 times our manpower. We have 500,000 and they have 3.5 million. Okay, we are now starting to be pushed a little bit here in the north, but these areas have absolutely no supply whatsoever, so it's not like Japan is gonna benefit from this. Beijing has also now fallen, but I'm completely confident in our abilities to hold this. Another naval invasion happened when I wasn't looking, and they did get the port, but we should be able to just destroy all of them. Japan, can you stop invading me for 1 second? Please! About a year into the war, the situation has finally begun to stabilize, and Japan has lost 630,000 units. Which of course is a drop in the water, considering they have about 7 to 13 million available manpower. And they're only on limited conscription. I just really have to hope that the Allies won't be a huge disappointment and they're not gonna capitulate to Japan immediately. Especially America, since they're surrounded. And just looking at it a little bit, Japan actually seems to have troops on the border. America, please don't capitulate. Okay, Mr. Excuse me, Franklin Delano Roosevelt? Mr. Franklin, I think you have 2 Hirohitos behind you, and they're looking quite a bit mad at you. Well, good luck, Mr. Franklin, good luck. At this point, the Japanese seem to be using our strategy of just throwing men at the border. And the issue is, it seems to be working. I wish you could check how long a battle has been going on for, because I swear this battle here has been going on for at least 5 months. Czechoslovakia has been unscrewed, so World War II is finally about to begin. And you know what? It can't start soon enough. Because currently, we need all the help we can get. Mr. Hirohito will just not stop attacking, even with 1.36 million Japanese casualties. Hirohito, couldn't you do Pearl Harbor a little bit earlier? I mean, you do have a connection to the Philippines. A very small connection, but well, still a connection. Okay, it seems like they have made a small breakthrough here, and they're about to break through this province up here too. So things are looking a bit hectic right now, but thankfully, on the other side of the world, World War II has officially begun. And with Japan right next to Britain, it's looking a lot more scary for the Allies. Thankfully, they have about 2 years to prepare. America, I appreciate the thought of sending me 2,000 guns per month, but if you haven't noticed, I have absolutely 0 convoys. Excuse me, sorry, I have 2 convoys. So yeah, America, I'm going to accept, but I don't think I'm gonna be seeing any of those guns. And would you look at that, we're actually pushing the Japanese back for once. Only 1 tile though, but you know what, I'll take it. Just 1 more year, we have to hold out for 1 extra year. And just in case you're wondering, Japan now has 19 to 31 million manpower. And also a lot of factories. But somehow we are holding, somehow, some way. In all honesty, this must be extremely frustrating for Japan. Imagine having this much manpower and industry, and being held back by China, who only has a fraction of your industry. As for Europe, France is about to fall, and the UK is completely protected by this Japan right here. Which, judging by the amount of news, is 1, 2, 3, 4, it's the 4th Japan. Also yes, in this world, the source of the Rhine comes directly from Tokyo. The most critical thing that has stopped us from collapsing is just stopping all of these constant naval invasions. If even one of them succeeded, we would be completely gone by now. And speaking of succeeding, one of them has succeeded, but thankfully it's not on a port. So I'm not really sure what's going on here, but Japan seems to have moved most of their troops away from the border, and I think this is the perfect opportunity to try a small little sneaky attack. Okay, and we are actually pushing them. With basically pure infantry too. Japan, why did you completely abandon your front line? They even left the river undefended. Okay, I have to check exactly what's going on here. So you know what? Don't mind me. Japan, why do you have most of your units on your island? They apparently have 548 units. I just don't know where. They have some on the other islands. They even have a small amount in Australia. But where are the rest? Oh, and I seem to have found them. They're all migrating to God knows where. Wait, Japan, are you going to Africa? Hirohito, what are you doing? What is Mussolini telling you? And the bigger question is, which Mussolini is it? There's too many to count. Well, thanks to Hirohito being incompetent, our border is now a lot smaller than it used to be. And that means it's a lot more defensible too. It was good while it lasted, but the Japanese units have finally returned. And with all of the Japanese units back, we are now once again being pushed back. Is Japan anywhere close to running out of manpower? I don't think so. Yeah, they have 20 to 35 million men left. Still on limited conscription, by the way. I feel like it doesn't always take this long for Pearl Harbor to happen, but maybe my current situation is making me imagine it. By the way, the Soviets are being invaded and they're not doing too good, to say the least. They are pushing Finland back, that's something. Soviets, please don't get half of your army encircled here. I like how the Eastern Front looks horrible, but meanwhile in Finland the Soviets are using some 4D chess tactics. They've literally teleported behind the Finnish. And it has finally begun. Japan has declared war on the United States of America. And sadly enough for us, they are already starting to push into California. Although America is quickly sending reinforcements here. And they actually managed to invade the second Japan on the east coast. Okay, well, America seems to be doing a lot better than I thought they would. Japan has almost no troops here for some reason. And they're actually pulling a lot of them away. Same on the east coast actually, half of Japan has already fallen. They do seem to be slightly more prepared in Europe though. The UK still hasn't joined and hopefully they hold once they do. We have integrated all of our puppets by the way, so China is now looking very beautiful. In all honesty, it kind of feels empty without all the extra countries here. And Japan is now at war with the UK, but it seems like the UK is thankfully holding. They're about to lose Portsmouth though, but they have a lot of reinforcements coming in from the north. Speaking of the UK, we might as well right-click on them and join the Allies. They have accepted, thank you very much UK. Now this is a really strong faction here. Hokkaido in America also seems to have been naval invaded. Same with this province here. Africa is at a complete standstill and it probably is gonna stay at a complete standstill because this is all mountains here. Australia hasn't moved yet, but the Japanese are trying to take New Zealand. Keyword here is trying. They're actually even unable to take the Philippines. Hirohito, why are you being so incompetent? Could it be that you shouldn't be listening to whoever is talking to you? Maybe someone who is right behind you? And the UK is actually advancing on European Japan. The only place where Japan has been slightly successful is Malaysia. Yeah, it seems like they're gonna take it. Also Yemen actually, but I'm pretty sure there's nothing here. Yeah, there's absolutely zero resources in Yemen. I'm not sure if it's because Japan has so many factories, but the game is going quite slow right now. But with the two American Japans falling, and the European Japans as well, it is finally time for us to try to get back China. So with the offensive line drone, we are going to begin the battle plan. And we are getting some green bubbles, but the question is, are we going to maintain them? Because Japan still has quite a lot of units here. And of course it's the French who surrendered to Japan, so now we have another big front open. Thankfully they start out with no units here, so we can do a small push into Vietnam. And the Philippines is actually doing something for once, excuse me? They've taken Hokkaido! This is truly the rarest thing I've seen in HOI4. The Philippines is using their army. And interesting enough, out of all countries, Australia is trying to land on Japan. Well, on Japanese Manchuria. You won't make it Australia, but well, at least you tried. Although even if you did land, this was going to turn into another Gallipoli, so it's for the better. With European Japan defeated, now the Axis has a direct line all the way to London. Hopefully the Allies won't be dumb and they will be able to defend this. Also at this point the game is running so slowly that the moment I hit unpause, the entire game turns into a slideshow. You can see every single frame pass by, just look at the airplane. Yes, I do enjoy destroying my computer, how did you know? As for China, we are actually starting to push them quite a bit now. We're even about to enter Manchukuo. And of course, out of all the Japans, the Brazilian Japan is doing the best. Brazil, how could you lose this? You had the whole game to prepare for this. Well, they do actually have quite a lot of units here. And of course, most of the front is not covered by Brazil. African Japan is also doing quite well. If they could somehow take Cape Town, South Africa might capitulate. Menguko is about to fall and we have enough units where we can now help the allies. So we are going to send 24 units all the way to India and try to take this new Hokkaido. Ah yes, what a beautiful front line. How exactly is this province connected to this province? With Manchukuo being reclaimed, we have also managed to get a small little tiny encirclement here. So you know what, Japan, after all of those years of trying to conquer us, this feels extremely satisfying. It would feel a bit more satisfying if it wasn't on 1 FPS, but you know what, even with 1 frames per second, it's 1 frames of happiness. Our units are finally in India and Japan, and we may now start pushing into Tokyo. One of the 10 Tokyos at least. Manchukuo has capitulated and Korea is about to fall, and this could usually be the point where we would invade Japan, but even if we do manage to invade them, they won't capitulate. So far they've lost 1, 2, 3, 4... Not 5 actually. Yeah, about 4 Japans. And they are at 47% towards capitulation. Which makes me think, what if we don't have to invade them at all? So you know what, let's get one of our generals and send him all the way to California. And let's select another general and send him all the way to South Africa. And another one can go down under to Australia. And just as I sent them to the Philippines, Japan now wants peace. Well, Japan, you know what? No, I'm not gonna give you any peace. We are going to go for total victory. Our units have reached America, and at this point the game is running so slow, I'm just gonna activate the order, and I'm just gonna let the units do what they have to do. So I'm just gonna leave the game running for a little bit. So I let the game run for a tiny bit, and the year is now 1944. 2 whole years have passed, and we have managed to take most of the Japans. The Indonesian Japan is gone, the Indian Japan is gone, the African Japan is gone, the American ones are gone, the European ones too, and the only ones left are the Brazilian one, the Australian one, and of course the one and only original Japan. And we only need to capitulate one of them because Japan is 87% towards capitulation. So would I rather go for Brazil that looks like this or Australia? Well, you know what? I never thought I'd say this, but we're going to Australia. The Axis, by the way, seems to finally be getting pushed back. The Allies are doing a huge push for Europe and the Soviets seem to be pushing back more. Yeah, Germany is absolutely collapsing. What happened? And Japan, in their infinite wisdom, has decided to pull most of the units out of the area here. Well, you know what then, Japan? Don't mind if I do. Looking at how close they are to actually capitulating, I think once we take New Japan, they will actually capitulate. Once we take this one province here, I can finally be free from this hell. I've been fighting Japan for 8 years. You can't even see the province, by the way, because of this thing blocking it. And Japan has capitulated, and would you look at who has the highest war score? Well. Let's go through the peace deal. The peace deal is over, and we have brought peace to the world. Specifically, we have given the Indian Japan to India, of course. The South African Japan to South Africa, of course. The Brazilian Japan to Brazil. And as for the Asian Japans, we have given the Indonesian Japan to China, the only way to have true peace in the region. And since we took Vietnam for France, I thought to compensate them, we're going to give them Korea. Surely nothing could go wrong here. As for the original Japan, I gave them to Poland because I'm not so sure the Soviets are going to give them independence. So if they can't be independent in Poland, they can at least be independent in Japan. As for the Australian Japan, it has been divided between New Zealand and Australia. And it's actually looking quite beautiful. And last but not least, the European Japans have been given to the one country that could manage them, Belgium. To the dismay of all British people. I'm actually going to wait for the Axis to capitulate just to see the peace deal the AI is going to do. And the Axis has capitulated. Surprisingly, the peace deal does not look that bad. Although for some reason the Soviets completely annexed Hungary and they made Poland look like this. But other than that, it could have been a lot worse. I also forgot to say the American Japans are the only Japans where Japan actually exists. So in this timeline, America is going to be influenced by Japan quite a bit. So what would happen if there were 10 Japans spread throughout the world? Well, as always, Hirohito would try, but he would not succeed. Thank you so much for watching. A huge thanks to DAZN, Sacre Blue and Corvenet for supporting the channel. A big thanks to Mapping Night and Bing Bong as well. And a big thanks to all the other members too. If you'd like to see more insanity, you can become a member. Like the video if you liked it, dislike it if you disliked it. I love you so much for watching, and goodbye. Mwah.